Hello, what's happening with the high inflation and what to do as an investor?
That's a good question. I think if we have the answer in 5 seconds, then everyone would be happy, but it's not that easy.
But you can already see if you look at the video how long it takes.
Okay.
I don't know yet, 30 minutes, 14, 10 minutes.
But maybe we don't speak only about the answer and also some more information. But there are quite some problems, and the inflation, of course, is one of them. The high inflation, and also what we have now is the declining share prices. It's a very bad week now, until now, it's Thursday. So that's another problem. And of course, the electricity prices,
are going through the roof.
To the roof again.
Declining share prices, high inflation, and high electricity prices. Those problems we're going to tackle.
It doesn't sound very nice.
But we have the solutions.
That's the good thing.
Yeah, we have the solution. What to do for the people in Europe, how to probably solve this problem, and also what to do for you as an investor with this situation.
I always think now about, someone said there's always somewhere a bear market or a bull market.
A bear from?
No, like a market somewhere, like we are speaking now about declining prices, but of course there are people making money with it, so it's not always electricity bill. I think that's not good news for no one.
Okay, let me start with that one. I think that everybody understands these problems and see this problem and feels this problem.
Yeah.
If you, we live in Spain, and the electricity bills are probably going to double by the 1st of September. Now it's the 1st of September, so we are still sitting. We can switch one light off, no? Maybe to solve something.
That would have been a good.
Well, we are laughing about it, but it's a serious problem, and it can be a more in-depth crisis than, for example, the COVID crisis was/is, if the people in Europe don't take the right decisions, I think. What's happening? Electricity bills are high. Why? Because in the EU, we live in the EU, there is a system that the electricity price is based on the highest producing electricity price in Europe. So, and they look at a daily basis. For example, you can produce by wind energy, you can produce electricity by nuclear energy, gas energy, coal energy. And on a daily basis, there's a system that looks, okay, what's the highest price? And that's the price where everybody, all the companies that produce electricity are selling those electricity units for. Now you see the problem, the gas price is going through the roof. So we calculate on a European scale, and I think that there are people outside of the EU, and they are a little bit laughing about us, that we have that mechanism. And
to be honest, we are laughing also a little bit, no? Because it's not like a open market, no representative.
No. Yeah, no, it's a really strange mechanism.
Oh, strange.
Yeah, it's just strange. That's something to say from you. It's stupid that I don't hear you say that a lot.
Yeah.
So that's going on. So high gas prices, high electricity prices. If you look at Europe, 32% is coming from oil. So to produce electricity, 32% of the total is that we need oil for that. 25% is gas, number 2, 20% coal, 80% is renewable energy and biomassa, 13 is nuclear, and 11 is solid fuels. And if you look at the 25% that we need to produce our electricity in Europe, coming from gas, from the 25%, 41 is coming from Russia, 24 from Norway, and 11% from Algeria. So there is the problem. There you see the problem. Since Europe announced we are going to discuss this on a European level, because you can also do on a country level you can use some tools like lower the taxes, but that does not have a large effect. So because we have a mechanism that the price of electricity is connected to the highest producing price of the day, it's EU mechanism, so only on a UA level there can be make some solutions. And since the announcement that it's going to be discussed, and I think 9th of September the ministers of energy come together, nothing is a lot of expected from there, but the 14th or 13th, now 14th of September, the president from the lay is presenting a State of the Union, and there hopefully something will be announced. And by that announcement, the oil price went already down from 300, and that's 300. What is it again? Megawatt. I will look it up what the value is, but from 300 down to 250. So that's the why. Why is our electricity bill so high? And before I'm going to give you 3 solutions that the people in Europe can do and Brussels can do to solve this problem. First, we're going to Taco, because almost all the shares went down this year, year to date. But there are some shares, some sectors that
there's
did the
always
opposite.
somewhere a bull market and a bear market. No, but it's true. For example, the Mosaic company, it's a fertilization. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, a fertilization company, so related to commodities, soft commodities, and it's quite obvious, I think, no, that sector is doing well. I did not really study the whole sector, but this company, for example, it's now trading at around $55, and it was around 30 1 year ago. So actually it was also higher, around 70 a few months ago. And I'm also thinking about something, you know, that a good relation of us always tells it. Like, of course, the commodity prices are high, but not all. I mean, they also declined a lot. And actually, if you look at the chart, then it came sometimes from a very low level to a very high level, but now back to like an average level, no? And so that might be the reason that the share also fell down a little bit, but still, it's trading high, it has dividend, it's like a normal investment, you know, like actually what you want. So not all prices of shares are going down. A second one is Devon Energy. It's really an energy company, also related to the oil prices, exactly the same, like almost more than 100% result with that investment.
This year?
Dividend, yeah, last 12 months, yeah. So I mean,
what's the name of the company?
Devon Energy, and like if you dividend.
What kind of energy
earnings,
do they produce?
it's related to the oil company, so they have their own positions in the US. But I mean, you can actually look up the more oil-related companies. It's not only those, but like over 100% yield. So there are solutions for this problem, of course, related to the war and the inflation, which is of course related to each other. But the thing is, but I don't want to draw the conclusion already, but that sector did well, and it can continue doing well, of course, but if something changed on that level, of course, if it's something changed in the war or the commodity, yeah, then it's the question, of course, will those companies still do well, or will they lose a little bit of momentum?
Yeah.
So I think every market, I like this one. There's always a bear market, Kaspar.
And a bear, there's always a bear market.
And a bull market.
But the last one you mentioned, I understand, it's in the oil sector. And the first company that is dealing in fertilizer, which sector is that? Do you know which sector?
Well, yeah, it is a sector, no, the fertilization, like for growing the commodities. And yeah, actually,
but that's
potash and phosphate fertilizer are the biggest in the US produce of them. It is really quite specific, no? For
it's the sector that you don't think about it directly, no? Fertilizers. That's an interesting one to look at.
To invest in, yeah, because I think so. I mean, I can imagine, no, if the soft commodities, no, like the things need to grow, the prices in the supermarkets of the products, it needs to grow. So yeah, actually we should have said it before, but maybe 2 years ago. But if you think that that sector, you know, there's a shortage of commodities, of products, then the company who are actually producing it or helping to produce, obviously they also went up. And
that's I hope you have those companies in your portfolio, because we see it on a daily basis, that a lot of companies went down a lot. For example, I didn't know that Storytel, you know, I don't read any books, I only listen to books, you know that. And I do that through Storytel. And Storytel is on the stock market in Sweden, if I'm not wrong. And they're also down this year 80%. And if you look at the figures, they're not showing quite some good figures. They're growing in revenues, they're growing in costs, but that's the same. So the cost is more than the costs are growing faster than the revenues. So the losses are building up, and that's our companies that the product is really good. And then, of course, we all know Netflix and we all know Tesla.
We spoke about Philips, the big company.
So, and if you look in your screen and you select a chart on a yearly basis or a year-to-date basis, almost everything is in minus. So this is directly related to the problem that's was not there in January, but it's the problem now. So that's why you mentioned those two companies, those two sectors, because if this will expand this problem, those sectors will probably benefit.
Could be, yeah. And they are not small companies. The Mosaic company, it's 20 billion market capitalization.
Yeah, that's good.
And Devon Energy, 46. So I mean, of course, there are some smaller companies maybe that are doing well because of one deal. No, but these are quite big companies. Very clear reason why they did well, I think.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Okay, now the three solutions that the EU can do to solve this problem with the high electricity prices. The first one is a price ceiling on the gas. Because what I said, electricity prices based on the highest producing price on a daily basis. Gas prices are high because of the war in Ukraine. So that is mainly for now is for the problems, is the backbone from the problems. So if you put a maximum price, if you decide it on EU, so we only use that as a maximum, then you also know what the maximum price is for the electricity. That is one thing to do. There are some problems with it because that not companies are not buying, companies are buying gas and not the country. So it's really difficult if you say as a EU, okay, this is what we're going to do, and then you have to put it in arrangement with companies. And also, there's also a counter argument that people say, yeah, but then other parties, other companies, or other countries outside the EU, they will pay a higher price, so the EU won't buy any gas, won't be able to buy any gas. I don't believe that, because what you see, if you put a price gap on in a market, it always creates a price pressure, downside price pressure. So I don't agree that. There are two examples that in April, Spain and Portugal already agreed with the EU to create a price ceiling on their gas production. And that was agreed by the EU because the Iberian island is mainly they produce a lot. They are they're not depending on other countries related to energy. So they wanted to have this, and they had to pay something for it. And for us, in our electricity bill, we have to pay from September a fixed amount, but that creates a maximum price per electricity. And if I don't mistake, it's 0.49 euro per kilowatt.
But also in general, like a maximum in the market could be a little bit tricky, but in this case, because the rule was so stupid, like I said, then it's still better than what we have now, like a strange way to fix the price.
But this is also created one other problem, because Spain is producing quite cheap, so France is buying electricity now from Spain. That was not the goal, but if you do it in the whole EU, then you don't have that problem. Okay, first, I think it's a good one, but it's not the best one, the price ceiling. The second one is to charge to the producers that make a lot of money out of this situation. So the companies that produce energy by using coals or by renewable energy, so they have huge profits because they sell for the price of the gas, but they produce for their based on their materials. That's also difficult because then you have to do it through taxes, and it's already taxable. And taxable, it's mainly you do that on a national level, and to adjust some do it in the EU on a national level is quite difficult. And you have also another problem that you get money from a certain group and you have to give it through Europe to another group. It's also it's quite complicated.
It's also not like the problem is just that the price is not correct. No, if you
the price is not correct. No,
so you can do a lot of things and to avoid that.
So that's why the third reason, I think that's the best one, to release the connection with the highest price.
Fine, happy to hear that.
Yeah, and that was also in the article, in an article of the Financial Times this morning, and they also said, but there are some problems with it. They said it's complex. So I was reading, I said, okay,
then we don't do that.
Why is it complex? But they did, no, I said, it's complex. I always get a little bit nervous when people say it's complex, or it will take a long time, or it's difficult. So, and they didn't give any answer on it. And the people from the market, specialists say, oh, that's complex. And another thing they mentioned, a lot of risk is involved. A lot of risk. What is a lot of risk? And I think if you don't do anything, that's a lot of risk. If you see now companies and households, what they pay for the electricity bill, they will go bankrupt. The inflation will go through the roof. You get a recession. But it's maybe me, I don't see another risk that's bigger than this risk that we are involved. And they quoted I think the minister of Poland, and he said, no, this is, I have it here. I said, this is, we must not do that. He said something, we must do it. They quoted him, but they didn't quote him. Why? So I looked it up, and I looked at Poland and the energy, and they produce 179 tera megawatt per year, and they use 180 terawatt. So they don't have to import anything. They produce their own price, their own electricity. Yeah, then I can also say that. And they produce the 72% of what they produce is based on coal. So they don't. That's all fine for him. So I think there's the problem. Release, take it off. And what's the solution then? Okay, take the average price. You can always see if you want to compensate the companies that have to produce for the gas prices. You can do something but then you lower. You average the price, and the electricity bill will drop.
It's not that difficult, no?
I don't think it's too difficult.
But probably a lot at stake, no, for all the people and the governments and the politics, no, to say, like you said, with Poland this.
Yeah, because they will say that they will complex, high risk.
No, I agree, they should, but I mean.
And of course, it's more complex than what we are saying, and maybe a little bit more risk. But that's the solution. Come on, there's the problem. That's the solution.
The solution and the situation. It's stupid, no? I repeat my words.
It's stupid. It's not necessary.
We are used to have markets, no? And of course there are rules, but like to have one price, the highest for everything.
I have also in that article in the Financial Times this morning that has a map of the EU countries, and that shows energy prices are driving inflation all of Europe. So the annual percentages change in energy prices based on July, and then you see, for example, the Netherlands 68%, Spain 41%, Poland 37% only. Yeah, I can understand why he was. So it is a really big problem for you as an investor, for us as investors. I think. No, before I want to say another thing. What I also don't understand is that this problem. I think. If you are in that market, if you are a politician on that level, you are involved, that's your portfolio, then you could have seen this coming. So the scenarios should be on the table and already discussed and already approved up front. And especially when the war started and we knew what the effect could be on the gas prices, this already should be bespoken. And not now. It's only making the decision that should always, if this happens, that's scenario analysis, then we do that.
But that's being, a investor, a trader, or an entrepreneur, no? But I suppose there are more things at stake or not in the politics. Not that easy, but you're totally right. It should have been like that. But as an investor, no, the recap, I mean, it happens, you can agree or not, but you still need to decide if you go with the flow or not. And like Kaspar said before, if you think that the situation will continue, including the inflation, or at least the problem will not be solved entirely. Those kind of companies and sectors, you still can invest in them. If you think there will be a solution, then those sectors are maybe going not that good anymore. So, as an investor, you need, I think, if you agree or not, you need to do something with the situation.
Yeah, you follow the news about this in Europe. Create your own vision for. And your vision should be how long will this problem be in the market, and of course based on what the politicians in Europe will do. If this continue, then you have to buy those stocks from the sector that Taco mentioned, or sell your stocks. If they go for option 3. Release the connection with the highest price. Energy price will go down, and your stocks that you have in your portfolio will go up, I think.
That's how it will be.
That's kind of how it will be. Okay. Thank you for watching. Give us a thumb.
Thank
See
you
you
very
next
much.
week.
Bye.